Hey, hi, how are you? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever and wherever it is that you are watching this video, and welcome to Count That as Shadows, a series where I talk about the Assassin's Creed franchise in the lead up to Assassin's Creed Shadows. And for today, the first video of this series, we are talking about the original, the one, the only, the 2007 release Assassin's Creed 1. Where do I even begin with this game? This is a game that I have, let's say, complicated feelings for. This was not my first Assassin's Creed game. My first Assassin's Creed game was AC2, but this game I played so much later in life, and this is a game that I originally struggled with because, I will say this now, the game AC1 has not aged well, like at all. This game has not aged well. It is slow, it is clunky, it's weird in comparison to the games that come after it, but it is also a game that over time I have grown an appreciation for, and I've also, now that I can go back to it, I can now more comfortably play it because this game is sort of unique in comparison to the future games starting with Assassin's Creed 2, because this one, it sort of feels like more of an assassin simulator than a pure action adventure open world stealth game, because this one is so in on trying to immerse you into this fantasy of you are an assassin. You are going out there, you are looking for clues, hints, what have you, to look for your target, and once you have enough, you go and you stab him in the neck, in the back, wherever you chase him down. It is so focused on that core identity, and it is so unique in that sense because, and this is me jumping the gun here, but we don't see something like this again until Assassin's Creed Unity, kind of, and more specifically in Assassin's Creed Mirage, but we will get to those games later. So it's sort of, the first Assassin's Creed game is sort of unique in that sense, and it's also interesting because structurally this game is very differently from the future games, because it is a much more simple structure, let's just say, because again, it is, so for those of you who don't know, you play as Altair, who's an assassin, and he gets demoted because he broke a bunch of the tenets of the creed, which I won't be getting into right now because that will be a whole conversation. And so in order to regain his position back, his mentor sends him to find specific targets across the Holy Lands, and to Jerusalem, to all the other places in the Holy Lands, which I cannot remember the name as of right now, so I apologize. So your job is basically to go to these specific areas, you talk to various people, you talk to your brothers, you talk to various civilians to find information on a target, and once you have enough information, you go back to the bureau, you set up the mission, and then you just go, and you have, with the information that you got, depending on what you got, you are now free to just kill the target as you please. Go straight ahead towards him, you can do that. You can be more precise, you can be more stealthily, you can use the crowd to your advantage, you can do that. It is such and a fun gameplay loop at first, but as you go along, it becomes repetitive because there's not really story missions. The missions are you finding the hints, and they can range from tailing somebody to fighting people to just talking to people to eavesdrop you do a bunch of the same things over and over again. That it leads to a very repetitive structure, and it doesn't help that after each major target you killed, you jump out of the Animus and you deal with a whole separate other story. And this sort of leads again to the repetitiveness, because you kill a target, you go back outside the Animus, you then go back in the Animus, and then you do that all over again. And that's one of the aspects in which this first game hasn't aged well at all. But I will say though, for being the first game, they nailed the modern day what they wanted to do with this concept, because it is so secretive, it is so mysterious. You feel there are moments in the modern day where you are free to walk around a room where you are being held, and it feels like you're not supposed to be walking around. In certain moments you can access a computer that it feels like you're not supposed to be getting access to. You're getting access to rooms that feel like you're not supposed to be in this room. It feels like somebody's always watching you. And then the things that you find in the modern day, the emails, the articles that you find, you are slowly realizing there is more here than meets the eye, and I am scared. So, and I'd rather go back inside the Animus, which all of this leads to the ending that it ends on a cliffhanger. The first Assassin's Creed game, they had the guts to end on a cliffhanger. We've seen those writings on the wall once Desmond gained the ability to use Eagle Vision, seeing the writings on the floor, the walls, everything, and then him saying, "This is written in blood." Ooh, it ends there, and it is the most what moment, and it's so cool. And talking about that in general, both in the modern day and in the story of Altair, there is an atmosphere to this game, and it is such such an interesting atmosphere. You have to experience it, but it's one of the best parts about the first Assassin's Creed game. It's the atmosphere. You have to experience this for yourself. You have to at least look at gameplay, listen to the music. The soundtrack made by Jesper Kid is amazing. So that atmosphere is something that I miss in future Assassin's Creed games, because even Assassin's Creed 2 has a completely different atmosphere in comparison to this one. But you have to experience this for yourself, and I sort of hope that atmosphere comes back in a future game, maybe for Assassin's Creed Hexi way down the road. But all in all, this game, like I said, has aged not so well. This game needs a remake, and I'm surprised it hasn't gotten a remake yet, because we're getting a Black Flag remake, which we'll get there when we get there. But this game needs a remake, maybe something more similarly to Mirage, but again, we'll get there later. But like I said, it aged badly. It needs a remake, but I can go back and I appreciate this game for what it is. And what it is a really interesting groundwork of combat, stealth, parkour, assassination, conspiracy, the modern day, everything that gets worked on for a little bit following the next few games, but this is clearly a proof of concept that works, but isn't really fully utilized here. In the next game, however, ooh, I can't wait to talk about that, but we'll have to leave it for later. What are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed 1? What are your general thoughts on this game? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss more episodes of Countdown to Shadows. I'll see you all tomorrow with Assassin's Creed 2. Bye.